You know, like right now, all the podcasts when you first start, they just start. You know, some of them get like practicing, which is good, which we just did. We did a lot of practice, but yeah, this is our first podcast, y'all. Woo-hoo. So, anyways, I'm gonna try to do this the right way, professional way. We'll get better in time. But welcome to Alofa Lava, Malolele, Aloha. Any other words you guys know how to say in hello in the Pacific Islands?
Malo soifu.
Well, I said
Alofa.
But that's good too. Malo soifu too, you know.
Yeah, hola. Wait.
Hola. ¿Cómo está? Well, that's too much. It's just hello. But what's it? You did a lot of work, huh? And for like Japanese interpreters. Even though I doubt there's gonna be any Japanese listening to this podcast.
This is your field.
Hi how?
No, it was Chinese.
Konnichiwa.
Chinese. Hi.
Ni hao.
Ni hao.
Ni hao and konnichiwa.
What's ni hao mean?
Konnichiwa is what you're saying.
Konnichiwa. To all my Chinese.
No, Japanese.
What's Chinese?
Ni hao.
Ni hao. The reason I say ni hao is because I got
Ni hao Thailand.
No, I got a little part Chinese. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, on my dad's side, my dad was quarter. He had a quarter Chinese. His mom was half Chinese, so that makes me like 1/8 or something like that.
More or less.
Welcome to the Growin Samoan podcast, y'all. I'm your host, Henry Willie. I'll just put it out there because, you know, there's only going to be like 2 people, you know, watching or listening to this podcast. If it grows, it grows, you know, just like the name of the podcast. I'm your host, DJ Hen, as I also go by, a.k.a. Hen Dog, a.k.a. Uncle Hen.
In the building.
A.k.a. Big Papi. A.k.a. Hey, I'm going to tell you just true story, too. And I'm trying to see if you guys can figure out who called me this. He said, Big Oos. And you would never guess who called me Big Oos. Football player. Big time hint. NFL. He was a part of. He was a part of the worst play call in Super Bowl history.
Oh, Marshawn Lynch, Beast Mode.
Ding
No
dong.
way. No
Yeah.
way.
Beast mode.
Yeah, he went down to his store in downtown Seattle. Yeah, he wanted to go get a
I'm
flag.
I'm 6'4".
A 12-man
Right
flag,
now I'm
and Beast
6'4",
Mode was there.
200.
Wow.
285, I think.
But he wasn't in the mood to sign, and so Henry went up to him. And he just turned around and just looked up, and he was like, "What's up, Big Oop?"
No. I'll tell you the whole story.
That's right.
I'll tell you the whole story. Hey, Marshawn Lynch, if you ever watch this podcast, I love you, man. You did a lot for our community out here in the Pacific Northwest. But yeah, I'll tell you that story later. But I'm gonna just go back to you know, if you to all of our true listeners to this podcast or watchers, if you want to watch this, we got a YouTube page. Yeah, just I'll tell you the story if you guys really want to hear it. You know, you just got to comment and subscribe, rate and comment on iTunes if you can to help support this channel. So, anyways, this is our first podcast, but we just want to be real, organic, and true to our Samoan community. And to you know, anybody who can relate to our stories. Over here in the studio, which is our own apartment, because this is as real as we can get, because not too many of us Samoans have the money to go to a studio or are balling out of control like that, to be like, oh yeah, I have a studio in my, you know, whatever mansion. Even though I do know some people which are truly blessed that, you know, have the ability to, you know, to open a door and that's their studio. And there's a lot of Usos, Samoans out there that are, you know, putting in hard work and, you know, building studios and stuff like that.
Yeah, shout out to them.
Shout out to them. Big old shout out. Making good music too.
Oh yeah.
Entrepreneurs. You know,
Very much.
they're just trying to. They're in the hustle. You know, they're in the hustle, and that's part of what this podcast is about. You know, growing Samoan. You know, how we all grew up as Samoans, and how we are now. You know, growing up in a later age, especially myself, and how I've been growing my knowledge in all things life, in health, and most of all, finances.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun. What? What I meant finances. Hun, she is the best, you know, Samoan speaking co-host on this table. I got right, fellas, right?
Hey, amen.
Right. So,
Malu.
you know, even though she looks, you know, parangi,
She can
For real.
translate.
she can translate. She speaks it fluently. You know, she was born on the rock.
She knows how to do fouls.
You know, she
She knows how to tell you how to do
Yeah.
fouls.
Hey, I learned from
she
y'all
knows
mama.
how to throw the slipper. She know how to sasa you and the kids when they get out.
I don't think that's something we need to broadcast.
But yeah,
I beat my
welcome,
kids
welcome,
thoroughly.
welcome to. If you're watching the YouTube channel, go to the YouTube channel. It's called Growin Samoan, and you can see us if you want to see us. There's a lot of people who like video, and there's a lot of people who like audio. So we put best of both worlds out there for you guys to enjoy. To my right, I have a young man who's just amazing with knowledge. I didn't even expect this from this guy. He's just like, he has a lot of passion in him, and very, very well matured for people his age, you know. And you know, we got to give it up for my man Paulo right here. Ladies and gentlemen, give it for Paulo.
I can't wait to meet him.
And then to his right, we have my beautiful and lovely wife. I don't know what you want to go by. This is the first, but she's gonna introduce her name. But she's the love of my life. She's so beautiful, and the reason why I fell in love with her is for her intelligence. I love you, baby.
I think my husband's overdoing
I
it.
love you.
But
You love me.
I think I'd rather go by Tala.
So she goes by Tala, y'all. So give it up for Tala.
Hey, Tal.
Tala for Janet.
Spirit fingers.
Malu,
Tala
malu,
for
malu,
Janet.
malu.
You know, why don't you speak a couple words in our native tongue, so they know that you do speak Samoan fluently. Because if they look at you, they probably be like, nah, she ain't no Samoan. She no.
How about just Tala Falava?
Oh, that's perfect. Okay.
Plain and simple.
And then over there at the end of the table, we have another brilliant young man.
Drum roll, please.
Drum roll, please. My prodigy, DJ OMG. Oh! So this young man is also the brother of Paulo, and both of them have had an interesting upbringing. The talks I've had with them about their father, you know, condolences who has passed away. When did Pops passed away again?
November 27th,
What year?
2016.
2016. So check it out, y'all.
It'll be 3 years.
Yeah,
This is the very first episode of Growing Samoan, and we just throwing it out there. You know, the day today is Father's Day.
Yes, it
Today
is.
is Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, by
Happy
the way.
Father's
thanks.
Day.
Oh,
honey.
that's
Happy Father's Day.
Yeah, I love you. Thanks.
Father's Day,
Thanks,
oosh.
guys. And to all the fathers out there, that are listening to the two guys that are listening to this podcast. If you're a dad, happy Father's Day. But yeah, I've been there before. My pops, rest in peace, rest in love, passed away back in 2003 from diabetes. And I've been through a lot, with watching my dad and his health and all kinds of stuff, dialysis and stuff like that. If you know anything about diabetes, especially in our Samoan community, you know what I'm talking about when we talk about diabetes, dialysis, high blood, high sugar and all that, high blood pressure and all
Very
that
common.
stuff. And that's another part of what we're gonna get down and talk about on here. Even though it's mostly finances, personal finance is what talk about also personal development, and that the word personal is exactly what it is. It's what you are living, your personal health, your personal finance. But I truly believe from the bottom of my heart that health and finances, are the key to a good life, happy life. But we don't talk about finances as much as we talk about health,
Yep.
I truly believe that. Like, well, I mean, the old folks
I remember, yeah.
always talk about, hey, how you guys doing? Ele kakao faku, right? Is that the saying?
It's usually like the first thing that when you guys meet is, how are you?
Yeah.
Wamai oi.
Wamai oi.
And be like, either it's mangwia or like kakao faku.
Yeah.
So, that's typically what the elders usually respond to,
And you had to explain that to me, and I was like, man. Dang. But, like, that's all about health issues. Like, but they turned it around into, like, hey, I'm still here, still breathing. I don't know if it's, like, they did that because of that, or it's just a saying that just got catchy to them, or is it really because they're seeing their loved ones passing away?
Well, I mean, you have to think about it. It's like if you ask them, they're not gonna say like I'm living the best life or my finances are in order or
just to make
to make conversation,
normalized conversation.
Kind of like somebody's ask you like, hey, how are you?
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh, I'm great, or I'm.
No, you can't play on my phone.
Yeah. Usually it's I'm great or I'm good. In the Samoan culture, it's.
That was my son, by the way.
Refer to their health.
That was our son.
Makes sense.
Oh.
That's our son.
The youngest.
This is what you gonna get. You listen to the Growin Samoan podcast.
No filters.
And you watch it. Ain't no filters.
It's organic.
It's organic. It's raw. This is real talk. And my kids are gonna be running around. Daddy, can I pay your phone? I'm be like, no. You got 3 iPads, Xbox One. What you want to play on? You got a computer, laptop, this, that. No. Stop bothering us on our podcast.
It's the first one.
He doesn't have a phone.
That's true.
But this is not seriously though. People, that can relate to us, all my fellow Polynesians, Samoan people, and all you Pacific Islanders. I'm gonna bring it home to you guys real quick of why, we're doing this. There he is. That's my son right there.
Yeah.
That's one of them. So I'm bringing this home saying that we're doing this podcast because there's really a small handful of us in the podcast space, and I know there's some out there. Was it you that was telling me that there's? I think it was my boy. One of my good friends told me about. There was another Uso down in California who has a similar podcast talking about like what I was talking to him like, hey, I'm doing this podcast. He's like, yeah, there's another Uso down there, blah blah blah. But I couldn't find him.
I think it was probably someone.
I went on like the major podcast stations, and big shout out to for the cultures. They got a podcast out in the Bay Area, and their podcast is about awareness of well, they call it queers. They call themselves
LB.
It's
GTQ.
LBGT.
Well, yeah, homosexuals, lesbians, and their awareness in the Samoan community. And big shout out to them. I've been listening to them, and just because I'm trying to get a feel for the podcast space in our community, and they're doing big things. They reaching out. They know some people too that I knew too, and I was just like, because originally, my family came from San Francisco, California, but now we are here in the Pacific Northwest. I was raised in San Francisco for about 7 years of my childhood, but been up and down from Carson, California, to the Bay Area, and then now to the Pacific Northwest, the whole Puget Sound area. Shout out to 206-253 Tacoma to Seattle, you know. But yeah, what was I saying about the podcast? Why we here? The space. It's a space.
Yeah.
So there's not really any Samoans talking about what I truly love and I truly believe that we need to talk about and teach our children, and not only our children, ourselves, which is about
Health and finance.
finances, personal finance, you know, the stuff that schools don't teach us, the stuff that our parents, you know, don't teach us, and not because they don't, because probably they didn't know nothing about either. You know, my parents, both of them, first generation, came from the islands, came from the rock, back in, I believe, the 60s or 70s. I'm not sure, but somewhere around the early time. And, you know, not knowing about finances is a hard struggle, not only for our Samoan people, but for a lot of other Polynesians or
Right.
Pacific Islanders in general, or any Islanders and anybody else who can relate. You know, they didn't have that same, you know, teachings or whatever. So that's why this podcast was really a big time dream of mine after recently getting hit to the word financial education. So if I say, Paulo, what's your definition of financial education? What would you tell me?
In my personal opinion, with financial education, it's having the basic necessities of how to budget your day-to-day lifestyles, and according to that is how your lifestyle will be. You know, because unfortunately in today's society, it's based off of how much you make, not how much you're worth. And the great thing about capitalism is, you could create your worth in the whether it's entrepreneurship.
Wait. Let's go back to the word capitalism, because we're not trying to jump too ahead of the game for a lot of listeners, for our two listeners. Remember, there's two of them.
Sorry.
So, but the word capitalism has a lot to deal with personal finance. And if you two listeners are listening and you're like, capitalism, oh, I don't even know the word. That's what I'm talking about. That's why we're doing this podcast, right? Because we all should know what capitalism is. But just give them a definition of what capitalism is.
Being able to, have the ability to have competition, and not be controlled by the government in one significant way, where one person holds a monopoly. And many people are familiar with the term monopoly, the game. And I know, shout out to Monopoly. That's actually the first teaching that most people have is
right here,
right there,
right here. 1981.
Right.
Monopoly.
Get it, play it today, because that is definitely something that would further that education. But yes, for me personally, with understanding capitalism is understanding American society, because it all starts from anti-communist acts, and we fought to
preach it.
we fought to be able to give ourselves the freedom of free enterprise, which allows us all to create our own worth, instead of working a job that tells us, hey, you're worth $18.95, you're worth $15 an hour, maybe if you work hard enough. That's my cousin Mossy right there. He's a very handsome dude.
You're going in deep. You're going in deep. So I don't want to.
I'm sorry.
No, that's why. Look, ladies and gentlemen, we are Samoan. This is what financial education and personal finance, and just educating yourself can lead you up to. And damn, there are so many Samoan young adults like you, my friend Mauso, and they're out there, man. Y'all out there. You guys are out there, and being so intelligent. I wasn't. How old? Which can you want to say your age if you don't mind?
Currently, I'm 24.
24 years old, young. I mean, look, when I was 24, I can't even say the half of the word capitalism. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just amazed. That's why I was like, man, I gotta have you on my podcast because you got when we talk, and I was just amazed at your age, and I was just like, damn, you're so ahead, and we need more young Samoans like you, to be ahead of the game.
I mean, in my personal opinion, there has to be something that sparks the interest.
Yeah.
A tipping point.
Yeah,
true.
Exactly.
That's what I call it.
It's a tipping point in life.
That's a good way to put it too.
Yeah.
The tipping point. That's what we call it. Yeah. Oh, speaking of, before you start getting all nerdy student on the world, but I really appreciate you and your intelligence, because yes, we are Samoan people,
yes. But we're gonna need that intelligence, and we're gonna pick apart at it so that way
get down to the podcast number 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what? Hey, what was my question for you? It was
capitalism.
No, before that.
The tipping. What was your tipping?
No. Before that. Before capitalism, I asked you personal finance.
Personal finance. Yes.
So we got into. I asked you, was your personal finance?
Oh, what is financial education?
What was his?
Yes.
What financial education?
Financial
what was the
education.
definition of financial education to him?
And what it meant to him.
And he and my friends. This guy is super advanced.
I was on a tangent. I was on a tangent.
He was about to make a run for the moon with that one question.
That would win you the presidential election.
Look, hey, Oos, this is the first podcast.
Layman's
I need
terms,
2 hours.
Take it easy.
I'm sorry. Let me go back to it. And for financial education.
No, I love it. Keep going.
In my personal opinion, it's having the basic necessities of knowing what a budget is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's plain and simple.
Plain and simple. Budget is part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's way more than that.
Right.
But this guy, if he keeps going on and on, this podcast will go on.
I'm gonna lose you.
Yeah, you're gonna lose everybody because you are like, iRobot. Nah, I'm just joking. Oos, the personal finance is a part of budgeting too, and that's the reason why I wanted to do this podcast too, is because whatever we talk about on here, whether it's us, our guests, hopefully it helps out our 2 listeners that they can learn something from it and help them out in their life. That's the main goal. That's my main goal. I said, you know what? I told my lovely wife, I said, man, I just want to help people, How can I help people? All I do is talk about, money and health. And money not in a bad way. That's another thing we're going to talk about. But, because when you talk about money, first thing pops out is like, everybody start cringing.
Right.
Because they don't want you to know their finances, whether it's good or bad. Just
or they don't want.
It's taboo.
Or the Samoan people, it's like, you got money?
Samoan people, it's taboo. And
it's
then
taboo,
we go,
and it's like,
we go as far as we make it look like we have
Fuck
money,
out.
right?
You went to the
when we
casino,
know that we only,
but you didn't cough for your falafel.
right.
What's more important, your falafel or your rent?
Yeah.
Real talk, though,
That's
personal finance. This is what we talk about on this podcast.
If I could ask, what is everyone's definition of financial education?
All right, let's go down the line. So I asked you about what's financial education. So let's go down the line. Your turn.
My turn.
Yeah. What's your definition of financial education?
A lot of the financial education that I've learned has been from you.
That's right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So.
What's that again?
So.
Hold on.
You're
You're not wearing slippers, right? We can see your feet. Oh, she's wearing slippers. Don't throw it at me. Don't do it. You're on camera.
Don't listen to my husband. He's stupid right now.
Bob and weave.
Right. But it's true. Whatever financial education and everything that involves it, I learned from Henry. And it's basically because my husband's a saver and I am a spender.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's facts.
That's what it is.
That's balance.
Right.
That's what it
right.
is.
Total opposites.
There's a lot of couples married or just boyfriend girlfriend.
Yeah. And finances are pretty much the number one thing that destroys marriages. So
man, when we talked about that when we got married, and then we always talk when you talk to your spouse, you talk about stuff that you never talk to.
Yeah.
You can't talk to the homies
because you can't. No, and you can't hide it from each other. That's part of being whether you're a married couple or even just boyfriend and girlfriend. I
think I heard it from
can't
you.
Hide it. Finances are.
I think I heard from you, babe, when you were like, the number one cause of divorce is financial or something like that. And this before I got financially educated.
Yeah, it's finances.
Yeah, and I was like, true. I was like, yup. Yeah. And I was like, damn, that's the statistic though. That's the real. I was like, damn, because you would never think.
Yeah, I did the research.
That'll be it.
Yeah.
And, unless you heard it, because then it hits home like, damn.
Yeah.
Most people would say infidelity was one thing.
That's what I'm thinking. Like it'll probably
it's a factor.
Yeah,
it's a factor, but the number one cause is finances. Because one spouse can hide one and never let the other one know.
Right.
And by the time it goes down, it's too late. It's what's been done is done, and then it can wreck a marriage.
That's why I think finances and then adultery.
And then infidelity and so on and so forth.
When the the woman spends the credit card. And he's like, man, forget this. I'm about to go.
Right.
I'm about to call my side chick. What is
honey? I'm wearing a slipper.
But then you're thinking,
no. I'm from I ain't like old. I'm from the old school. My old school. What's up with this side chick stuff though? I don't know nothing about that. Back in the day, I don't know. They called it being a player. We were like, oh, you play. And now it's like. But then, you see,
that's
the social media,
you're not committed.
It's natural to, if you're not
committed.
If you're in that class,
it's a committee.
We ain't talking about if you're in that lower class, meaning money-wise, financial class, you're in a struggle life. But they always talk about, I got my side chick. I don't think it's a Samoan thing though. Maybe a Maoli thing.
No, but
which is influence.
I'm not trying to, say anything against my fellow Maoris, man. I love them to death.
I feel like it's a general term.
Yeah.
For any male.
It's crazy though, because I wasn't raised in that generator, and I just.
Well, the only reason they say they have a side chick is because they're committed to something. When you're a player, you ain't committed to nothing.
No, but check this out. Look, no, but I think that goes back to ancient history, because you know everything about the kings and queens and all that history, and they all had side chicks.
Well, no, they had mistresses.
Mistresses.
Yes. Let's use the right term for it. The mistresses.
So
that is because they were married.
So is that the homies can't say, yo, I'm about to go check out my mistress.
I mean, it's too obvious.
It don't sound right, huh?
It don't sound right.
I gotta go check out my side chick.
They need
sound better, huh? Side chick.
They need code names.
Yeah. I gotta go check out my mistress. Yeah, that ain't working. All right, I just answered my own question. Okay.
But that was my answer to that was my answer to financial education, which was originally a question. Is pretty much everything you've taught has been about finances, and
at least
I don't. It's basically just.
Yeah, but everything I taught, but you got to relay it, translate it in your own words.
No, I know, and that's why I was saying, you're the saver and I am a spender. So in being financially educated is learning about how to save how to not overspend and how to budget your life and
Budgeting,
learning about budgeting, learning about paying your bills.
Yeah.
And then if you have play money, you have play money.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Work hard, play hard.
But that to me is fine, and I'm still learning.
Yeah.
It's a never
Budgeting,
ending.
we all
Never. Yeah. It's never ending. You're gonna be
Budgeting.
learning everything.
Because when you
every
budget,
day.
then you'll have some play money.
Yeah.
You have your own play money, you know, because we're only human, right? You can go hard and save hard, you know, to reach that goal that you want to get to. Save, you know, because you know you just want to get out of the 9 to 5 and all that.
Yeah.
But you were only human.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
But
We're not
that's
robots,
true. Yeah.
so you're gonna have to have some play money.
But that's
to,
part
you
of
know,
your
You're bound to
budgeting.
make mistakes.
Yeah. I heard a lot of what was this? A lot of one of the dudes in the band. He spends his money on video games. His whole he has a whole case and everything. Just like I think his Xbox, whatever. And every time he travels, he hooks it up, gets online, plays with his son. It's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why. That's his play money, right?
Right.
But that's a whole different level. It's like this, you know, this is rock band guy. Yeah.
And you know, there's Balongis that say the phrase, you know, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's where play money does kind of set an example in that. But I also believe that people take it to the extreme when they play too much.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. It's play money.
Yeah, but if
But
you
some
have
people-
you have a budget, that's you have to stay within your means.
You're financially educated.
Yes.
Then you get it. Then you know what play money is.
Right.
You know, play money is play money. It's not rent money.
Right.
Play money is after taxes.
Right.
Play money is after
After
taxes.
you pay yourself
you get your
first.
tax
After expenses. After you pay yourself.
Gotta get that
first.
ROI.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, after all that, then it's play money.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Then it's good. So you know.
And you can choose. You don't have to play with it. You can choose to just hold on to it and build it, and that play money will get bigger, and
Absolutely.
you can use it for something better.
Hopefully in the future.
But that's financial education so far.
Okay. So, to DJ OMG over here. Oh, but what's your name though? That you want to use
Did
on
you
here? It's a
wanna-
special guest right here. I say DJ OMG because one of my side hustles is DJing. If you're from the Northwest, I just do a lot of family functions, family gigs. Nothing big, nothing flashy. I just like to, do little family things, birthday parties, weddings, graduations, and I go by the name of DJ Hen. And then when DJ OMG came along, I said, because when I set up my system, I just put it out there. Sometimes I'm like, hey, I tell my nephews and nieces, if whoever wants to, learn how this side hustle, being a DJ, if you really want it, and I had a couple of them jump on, but when this guy jumped on, he was just, I could tell the passion. I just sat back. I was like, wow. It was at one of our house parties at home, meaning a home party,
Oh yes.
family function, and I had my DJ stuff set up.
He has an ear for
And
music.
then I said DJ OMG. I'm not saying his name because I don't know what name he wants to go by, so I'm just saying DJ OMG because he hopped on, and then I was like, yeah, this boy good. And you play some good music.
Oh man,
You got an old soul.
He's playing Dad's old song.
That's what I'm saying. You play your
That's why.
you play your mom, your dad's,
your mom.
your cuts. You
Well,
get
if it
that
was your
old
mom,
soul.
it'd be the Jets. And
Yeah, the Jets. Shout out to the Jets.
right.
it's true.
Got a crush on you.
Hmm.
Hey, you know what?
I grew up under your mom. I know.
Shout out to the Jets, the first
Shout out.
the first Polynesian Pacific Islander group, singing group on I thought any platform to hit the charts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mainstream.
And then came Booyah Tribe. Shout out to the Booyah Tribe.
The
The
twisted.
DeVos.
Right.
Yeah. I went to church with them
Did you?
back in Carson. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I was just a youngster. They probably know my older siblings, but I was a youngster, But I remember them though.
Their hair was long then too, huh?
Yeah, I think so. I was young. I was probably like 4. I was probably like 4 or 5, somewhere around there. But man, yeah. Shout out to the Booyah Tribe because they put they put the Samoan name on the map everywhere you go. Even in 2019, people still say "booyah." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yep.
And so
Shout out.
big Usos down there in Carson, man. Love y'all, man. I love y'all. Love y'all what you did for the Samoan community, putting us out there. Just big shout out to them, man, to the DeVoe family, man. And rest in peace too to one of the Usos, man. I forgot which one of the Usos passed away.
A couple years ago.
Yeah, it was I think it was Godfather.
Yeah, it was a Godfather.
Was it Godfather?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, my older siblings, they know all of them. One of them's actually, married into, one of the family members that's related to them. I ain't gonna say no names, but, because, we talked about that. We keep our family tight. We love our family. But big shout out to the DeVoes and everybody down there. Man, because I love music. Music's my heart. It's my passion. When I seen the Booyah Tribe, man, I was just like, Ray, everybody on the dance floor. That's old school, Ray, who? And I was a youngster too when I heard that. I looked at my older brothers and cousins dancing to them, and I was like, and at that time I was in when we were living in the Bay Area. But to have shout out to the Booyah Tribe. If we can have y'all on the podcast, talk about finances.
That'd be dope.
About the music industry and how it is to to deal with financials at that level. If you're one of the two listeners, you're welcome anytime you come to the Pacific Northwest, man. You stop by, you can sit on our table, have some coffee with us. Right? Everybody has a coffee. This coffee is good.
Sweet coffee.
That's good. You guys don't know what it really in these cups, but Happy Father's Day again.
Especially.
Oh, happy Father's Day.
Coffee.
Did we figure out the name that we wanted to be referred to?
Oh, so yeah, go back to DJ OMG, my prodigy coming up. He's coming up in the world. But yeah.
OMG's fine.
OMG?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for taking me under your wing. I know it was kind of difficult given the circumstances of Scenic Hill. That's where I'm located at. But I appreciate the time that you invested in me.
Yeah.
It really took a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem. You know why? Because you have the ear for music. Not too many people have the ear for music.
It's true.
So if there's a talent out there, it's a talent. Use it to your abilities. This podcast, Growin Samoan Podcast, is because God has given me a talent. This voice I have right here. So hey, every time I was like I was gonna go on Stitcher and do voiceovers.
Somebody get their
Or a
dad.
side hustle.
Try it.
But
Boys.
everybody kept saying when I MC like a DJ gig, they, oh my gosh, you sound like a professional DJ, like a radio.
Like the one in
The radio broadcasters. We
we're over there.
The anime dubs.
So going back to
Right,
my
right.
point, going back to my point was, I feel that, and I hear this a lot in the podcast space. By the podcasts I listen to are mostly personal development, motivational, financial independence.
Go get it.
Yeah, a lot of podcasts I listen to, and anything I get interested into, and a lot of them say, especially in the financial world, financial independence world, they it's a lot about emotions, and also about how you have a God. Every one of us, every single one of us has a God-given talent. So, whatever your God-given talent is, you try to push more to that, and because everybody's different, we all have our own talents, our special talents. You have a good ear for music. So do I. Some people don't, So we play music.
Right.
Because we're good at that, you know. Some people have a talent with their hands, be mechanics, and they love it. They're great with that. You know, I'm a bad mechanic. I have fingers too big, still, you know. But anything, whether it's cooking, you know, being a businessman, owning a shop, cleaning, you know, being a house mom, you know, whatever it may be, being a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, you know, being a social worker, doctor, lawyer, you know, a student, teacher, right?
Very much.
So, a Makai, right? Because there's some good ones, and there's some
not so good ones.
Everybody has their talent. Yeah, everybody has their own talent.
Yeah.
So my talent is to try and. I love finances though. I love music, but I love talking about finances because, like, I don't know why. It's just like I just get it, you know. And I love trying to talk to people about it to help. So I said, what more better way than to start a podcast? Because that's all I do now. I listen to other podcasts, and I love it, but I can't relate on a personal level, culturally. So I said, you know what? I think I should do something for our people, right? And I've asked around, and you know, the feedback I was getting, just like, you know, what we talked about, right? And what other people I asked, and they said, damn, yo, him, we need that, right? And to me, it's like, yeah, fool, I know that. That's why I'm gonna do it. We need. Well, no, but on the real, it's like, yeah, we do need that. We need that. I've been struggling my whole life, you know, real talk, like, and I'm pretty sure it's similar to the majority of us Samoans out there. You know, even if you're born on a rock, you're still living over there, or if you're born out here, raised out here, I think it's still the same. We can relate on that level. Like, I was thinking the other day, right? They know little about us here on the mainland, but yeah, we know little about what goes on there. And there's like a little, you know, miscommunication when it comes to finances, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Like a gap.
Yeah, it's a big gap, man. But that was just another, you know, thing I was thinking about. But so where was I going with this?
We were still waiting for OMG's financial education meeting.
So yeah, here we go.
And yours too.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
No problem.
No
problem. We're going to be jumping around subjects for quite a while.
Yeah, stop me when you can, if you can.
He was going deep.
Right.
Very deep.
Go ahead.
It's like poetry whenever Henry's just on the flow. It's like, you know, when he's mixing his stuff.
It's like
DJ
that spoken word
dog,
you don't want it to end.
It's that spoken word that you'll never get to hear.
Just don't give my husband a blunt, because then he'll be rapping and flowing.
My definition of...
Hold on. A pause. What? I don't smoke.
I know that. I said just don't give him one.
I don't smoke. I don't smoke no more because I love my job.
What is weed?
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
I have no idea.
Right. Different gen nowadays.
Yeah. What financial education is to me is... my brother Paulo, he put it perfectly in a perfect way. The basic necessities of saving and also spending. I believe he taught me it's not about how much you save, it's about how much you spend. Or it could be the other way. I may be wrong, but I'm not too bright in the finance world, and he advised me on it that it's very important, very critical in our community, because, you know, a lot of Samoans, families, you know, everybody, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on that not a lot of people can think of, but it happens in all ethnicity. The idea of becoming like a unit when it comes to helping each other out, and the biggest problem in the world is money. That's financial education is basically just budgeting, just saving to me.
In our Samoan world, yeah.
Yeah.
Chupe.
Henry has a saying too. That saying is
That's the
like
saying.
follows. It's not how much you make.
Yeah.
It's how much you spend.
Yeah. I heard that quote from a little old lady, man, on a podcast.
Oh wow.
Little old lady. I think she said something about her grandma told her that quote. And her grandma was wealthy, but she was very frugal. Frugal means like you can save money.
Mm-hmm.
Cheap
Mm-hmm.
is a disgusting word.
I
hate that word because
but it is another
cheap
similar
bastards.
word to it. Per se.
But no, yeah, because I never like frugal. Oh, remember that term I came up with, babe?
Frugal fabulous.
Frugal fabulous.
That's nice.
You like that?
I like
Hey,
it could be trendy.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna make it trendy, y'all. Yeah, it's not ghetto fabulous. It's frugal fabulous.
Hashtag frugal fabulous.
Hashtag frugal fabulous.
Hashtag growing Samoan.
Growing Samoans.
Mm-hmm.
Frugalicious.
Oh dear.
But
Wow.
hey, but in order to reach that mountaintop, you gotta be frugal.
Yep.
You gotta be, and in order to be cool with it, you just say, hey, I'm frugal fabulous.
Frugal fabulous. I like
I love Goodwill.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
That's our spot.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought it would be my spot, but
Yeah.
when I'm getting Ofu for only 50 cents,
Okay.
And it fits.
and it's, come on now. The reason why is because when you have financial education, number one, and then when you have number two, a goal, and number three, you have a path to reach that goal.
True.
You have to be frugal in the financial independence world. So financial freedom is my goal, our goal, right, hon?
Mm-hmm.
Because I love that word, financial freedom, right? The story behind that, we'll probably say for another podcast, but I'm going to try to explain it. Financial freedom, for those two listeners that don't, they're like, what the hell you talking about, Luce? What's that? I'm going to just explain it as simple as I can. Freedom from finances.
Mic drop.
That means...
Yeah, it's being wanting to be financially free.
Yeah, that means that you don't have to worry about bills.
Yeah.
You ain't got to worry about your
You
rent,
have bills,
your mortgage.
but you don't have to
yeah.
stress about it.
You have bills,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't have to worry about paying for it because you have what is called investments, which we'll talk about and try to help our two listeners understand by investments that can pay those for you on a monthly basis. So, for instance, let's just say you have monthly expenses, food cost, house cost, whatever, other expenses, bills and everything, and it's like 2,000, right? So 2 G's that you got to come up the end of the month every month. Once your investments, which we'll talk about later about investments, once your investments start working for you, making money for you, then those investments every month will amount to $2,000, and you don't have to do nothing about it. It just works itself, and then that's financial freedom.
Mm-hmm.
You just let the investments pay for your lifestyle, and then you can spend your time with whatever you want to do, or whatever you want to be doing, and saying goodbye to the 9 to 5.
And that's basically what an asset is. Something that provides residual income on a monthly basis.
Assets, residual income.
Passive.
That's
income.
passive income.
Mhm.
Those are all terms that are involved with investments.
Mm-hmm.
So investments is something that I had to educate myself about. Financial education is how I learned about investments. How? By reading books. But I don't read books.
He listens to
I hate
audiobooks,
books.
so don't. So when he says read, he doesn't
I don't
read.
like books, man. I hate books.
Yeah, I'm the reader. He likes audiobooks.
Balance.
There's a
I don't
balance.
like books. I can't read. strengths and weaknesses, God-given talents. I can't read, but you can read. Like, I love to read. Like my wife, she's a speed reader. We used to go to the library. She'll get like 10 books. The next day she'll go return those in because she just read them all and get another 10. And I'm like, and I remember sitting and looking. She's like, flip.
But I retain. Yeah. That's the key.
Mm-hmm. But and for those of you,
tell you what that book was about.
It's hard for me to retain.
But talent, strengths and weaknesses. You can read, right? I like listening, audio. That's why we're doing both for the podcast. You know, we got the podcast, which you can find on all. It's going to be aired on all the major podcast systems, and then you have our video on YouTube. For people who want to just chill and just and get into that. That can read lips. Can you read my lip? Read lip. Can you read lip on the video? Whoa. So, yeah, you gotta watch the video to understand what just happened. Gainey, you just made the face. Do that face again.
With one lip up and one lip down.
Is that a Fortnite face?
It was something that came up.
OMG face.
Went wrong.
OMG.
Get my life.
Yeah, Growin Samoan podcast, man. It's been a dream, a recent dream in the works, and I finally was like, you came up.
Paulo's here.
He came up on a surprise, and I said, okay, let's do this, right? Let's do this. So the title of this episode is Take Action, right? Did we say that before?
We did.
We told the listeners, right? To all our Growin Samoan listeners, take action.
First podcast.
Take action. I learned a lot about that term from another podcast I listened to, which is called Bigger Pockets podcast. It's a real estate podcast, and the dudes on there, they preach a lot about you gotta take action. You can do so much education, research, but when it's time to really buy a rental property, which is real estate terms, there's nothing you can do but take action. You just gotta do it.
You gotta execute.
You gotta do it. Yeah.
Never know until you try.
There's another term that they use when they overanalyze, because you keep like this podcast. I could have went on for another 6 months overanalyzing. Well, how can I do this right? I got to get a studio. I got to make sure I get the right equipment. Man, I hopped on Amazon and got the cheapest shit that I could buy.
It looks high quality too.
And it's like, because I'm frugal fabulous like that, right, baby?
Yes, honey. Yes, you are.
Hashtag.
And then what the fuck was I gonna say? You gotta love me now. And then
this is why he has us here, to keep him on track.
Yeah.
You were saying that you went on Amazon and ordered the cheapest stuff that you could find, or cheapest
taking
shit.
action. taking action.
Yeah, you got.
Overanalyze it.
Yeah.
So I could have overanalyzed it.
Right. He could have been like, honey, I may need this. Honey, what do you think about this?
I gotta get a studio.
My husband is very undecided sometimes.
Backdrop. Green screen.
And that is facts.
Green screen, all of that.
Sometimes you gotta keep it Nike,
Yeah.
Just do it.
Keep it simple.
That's what I did. Just do it. Take action. All this here, we're sitting on our dinner table. This thing right here, we got this from Goodwill. I got it for like a couple bucks. It glows up, but it's too bright, so we just kept it off. And then there's words missing, so I got a marker with some paper, and I just drew that in myself.
That ain't Polynesian. I don't know what it is.
Right.
And that's what I call frugal fabulous, ladies and gentlemen.
Hashtag
frugal fabulous.
We're gonna have a jingle for that next time.
You can see our feet on the video.
Look at it.
Sleep on.
Slip gang.
You see my bare feet. This how the homies roll back home on the rock.
Right. I don't think you and Paulo have any shoes on. Only me and Gainey have our Nike. Just do it.
Which she got a very great deal off of by being frugal fabulous.
Right.
So what was that deal?
Yeah.
Kohl's.
Yeah.
Kohl's.
Oh, nice.
I got all all of my younger boys' slides except for Copo and Henry. No, Henry got his own slides.
No, I don't like. Well, slides is just mean slippers, right?
The slides. These are slides. Yeah.
I like the squeeze ones, not the squeeze ones, the soft ones.
The foam.
No, it's the kind that it's just soft on your feet. Well, I forgot what they call it, but
you're not talking about Crocs, are you?
No. They're Nike.
No.
They're Nike slippers.
I think
they
you
just
said about
have
the one that has the Velcro
on the bottom. No, they just have cushion on the bottom.
Yeah, the foam.
But
That's
Velcro
memory
on
foam.
the
Memory
top.
foam.
Yeah.
But there's a name for it. I just forgot what the name is.
Soft sole.
Yeah.
Or just
Something
foam?
like
Maybe
Yeah,
foam.
I think it's just
Cares.
foam. It's memory foam.
that. Gears.
Ay.
It just feel good on my feet. If I could wear 2 pillows to everywhere to go to the store, I wear 2 pillows with some duct tape. Be like, shh.
You gotta watch Skyscraper for that.
See,
With
now
the
that's
line.
cheap.
Yeah.
That ain't frugal fabulous. That's just being cheap.
Shout out to the cheap people out there. We know the struggle.
Shout out to the cheap people out there. I love you guys. Yeah. You gotta retract anything that I hurt the cheap people community.
They stopped listening.
You just lost the
I just
listener.
For
I
you.
just lost half a listener. I still got 1.5 listeners.
You got a dislike.
Right. You're gonna get a thumbs down now, honey.
Yeah, but shout out. Big shout out to our 2 listeners.
Thank you for staying on this long.
Right.
If you guys want to like something to ask us about on our next episode, go ahead and leave a comment. We're just gonna do the comments for now. I'll probably set up an email or if leave an email if I have an email up. We'll see. I don't have an email right now, but
I don't think we have anything. This is our test run, and it's
just the video, right?
Yeah.
And the audio.
and
Pretty damn
yeah.
good. So
And then
far.
I gotta throw it up.
And we're supposed to be doing this like at least 1 hour, but it's the first
we
one.
almost there. It's we're at 46 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because the reason why,
Doing
because
pretty good.
a lot of
Right.
podcasts,
Doing good.
they go for about an hour.
Yeah.
Some go for like 30 minutes, 15. It's all up to us.
Mhm.
Well, it depends on our subject,
But-
but since this is our first take action.
Yeah.
This is not bad.
That's not bad at all.
I like the kasi ikula. That means 1 hour.
Mhm.
It fits. You know why? I'm tell you why. Because
We're
like-
gonna have an agenda
the agenda? Do it? Are we?
about what we're gonna.
itinerary of
yeah.
what we're about to have.
We can have an agenda. Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Just kind of what we're gonna speak about. Like, tomorrow we're gonna say your basic steps to learning about
To
financial,
learning?
where we can go,
Mhm.
what we can,
Yeah.
what websites,
Yeah.
who do we go to?
Right.
So I mean, if you have an
Or
agenda,
not only that agenda to our listeners,
hmm
whatever you guys want to hear us talk about.
yeah, if they have
If
questions,
you can relate, if you have questions about anything financially related,
Yeah.
or in life general, if we can talk about it, or if you want to be a guest, if you want to be a guest on this podcast,
More than happy.
hey, hit us up. If you're in the Seattle area, Tacoma area, that's the Pacific Northwest, state of Washington, you can sit on this table. Would you like to sit on this table with us? You're more than welcome. Because we want to hear all stories. All stories. I don't care, man. I just want to hear stories about real deal, real life people in the world. Whether you're just a normal person, average Joe, or if you're a multimillionaire, fame, fortune, or if you just, working down the street, it don't matter to me. This is for our people. Growin Samoans,
Mhm.
How we've been, we all grew up as Samoans, and mainly here in the U.S. I can't speak for our family back home on the islands because I've never been on the islands. I was born in Hawaii, and at the age of 1, I moved to the mainland with my family. My beautiful wife, she was born there. These 2 young, fine-looking gentlemen have been at the Rock, but I haven't, man. I'm so sorry.
you're
Forgive
so
me.
American.
Forgive me,
okay.
please. It's in my blood. I was still born in Hawaii. Does that count? It's close.
Halfway.
It's not. It's too north of the equator. Shout out to all my Hawaiians out there. Mahalo.
Shaka, bro.
You know, I love the Hawaiian people.
Aloha.
I love mahalo and aloha. It means
Mahalo is kind of like goodbye. Aloha, mahalo, nuloa.
Okay, I should ask Auntie then. I love you, Auntie. You know, I don't want to say Auntie's name, but
All 14 of you?
she's Hawaiian, you know, and my cousins, you know, I love them. I'm gonna have them on the podcast too because they played a big role in making this happen. Big role. My wife knows what I'm talking about.
I do know.
And soon I'm gonna reach out, and that's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. But yeah, you know, born in Hawaii. Shout out to all the Hawaii. You know a lot of Hawaiians?
Not too many.
Not too many. I have had a few. I met few Hawaiians, and they real. You know, humble people.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, your cousin's married to one. And
Oh yeah! Shout out to
she's
my cousins.
awesome.
Well, I can't
She's
say their
awesome.
names either.
Yeah,
because I don't-
that's why I
I don't
said
wanna
your
use
cousin
names,
is
but-
married to one.
Yeah, her family is so.
Yeah,
they're so
she's
good.
awesome.
Good peoples. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all the Hawaiian, all the Polynesians out there, Marshallese, Micronesians.
Yeah, we have
You know,
a huge community of them
yeah,
up
we
here.
do.
Palauans.
Yeah, Palauans.
Palau.
A lot
Hey,
of them.
yo, Palauans can dance.
Mm-hmm.
I told my wife this story. You know, because, you know, every time you see a Uso, you know, oh, you're security, right?
Bouncer.
So yeah, I was a
Bouncer.
security. I was a bouncer, you know. I did a couple, you know, jobs back in my younger taste. But we did. My boy came up to me. He's like, "Hey man, you want me some money? You know, bouncing for the Palauan festival." I was like, "Yeah, yo, they dance. Their music is good. It's good. It's different from our you know, but it's good. It's it's like
They're all
island
having a good time.
reggaeton,
Yeah.
like Polynesian
everybody-
reggaeton.
Yeah.
Keeps everybody jumping.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Still
They were
makes
not.
everybody
I
feel-
remember they were. We went.
You went to the big one.
I went to the big
the
one.
first one I
Non-stop.
bounced at. It was in a
Never.
little small, you know, center, but they was all packed in there, and they're a little shorter, you know, they're shorter, you know.
And nobody's
Palauans and
ashamed.
Samoans.
Everybody's
But they
having
was just
a great time.
once the band hits,
They all
everybody
get
runs
up.
to the dance
Yes.
floor. Yo. Everybody, and they just
You know.
dance.
Unfortunately for us Samoans, you know,
Yeah, why
we
is
all
that?
kind of just sit there
Very
until
reserved.
slowly
We don't
it's
dance.
filled in. You
I
kind of make your
noticed.
way.
It's just mucking up.
Yeah.
Shame.
It's just our, I don't know. It's just our culture. But the Palauans, man, shout out. Then we did the big.
Yeah, that big one.
We security for them, and the big one was at a big old Red Lion Hotel.
Double
The
check.
venue was it?
SeaTac.
Yeah, at SeaTac.
SeaTac is Seattle
it was-
Tacoma,
they
which
had
is
like
where the airport's at.
Thousands of Palauans. It's probably like
It was a big. They had one of the smaller ballrooms,
yeah,
which is still pretty.
but it was
huge,
packed.
But it was packed.
Packed.
It was.
And the same thing. What's the band
And
got on?
they're pretty short.
They just
They're
run
like
up to the dance floor.
they're like
They
my
got
sister's
down.
like,
good time,
Oh,
man.
wow.
yeah, and they're just
I just love it.
all they're doing is
Yeah.
just so many just jumping, just dancing.
I love it. I just like
But their vibe, it's the vibe in the room that changes. It makes it. There's no formalities. There's nothing to be ashamed
well,
of.
I don't know. Oh well, formalities and all that stuff. I don't know about any of that in their culture, but they,
No, but I mean
just they
that the
love for
eye,
dance
that they
floor, their
love
energy.
their energy is all about
No
fun
shame,
and having
rules.
a good time.
Yeah.
Having a
They
good
just-
time.
no
Nobody's
shame. They
ashamed
just
of
go
nothing.
there, just dance.
They're
Just
just there to having
You
having
know,
a good
You
time.
repping for the Polynesian
Yeah,
community.
Footloose ruined the
Responsibly.
Samoan community.
Yeah, like
For
but
those of you who are old
responsibly.
enough to know, Footloose is
Yeah,
And Old Town Road.
it's
Yeah.
like I don't know why, man. It's like I think I know why. In our culture, the Samoan community, we're more of a respectful community. It's all about respect for Alualo. So it's kind of like
we have
I don't,
restrictions.
want to go up there and dance because I might be disrespecting my family if other people are looking at me. So I think that's why.
Yeah.
But that's why they get they get hyphy and crunk at the bars instead. But when you're at a function, Samoan function, it's more of respect. We gotta be respectful for our our family name and You know, right? I think that's why. I don't know. And then you gotta wait for the 5 hours and everybody to leave.
Yeah.
And then the drinks start kicking in, and that's when it starts getting, hey, then but then it's just a handful.
Or you're just ma.
Every function I do. It's like
that's kind of what it is.
What?
Or you're just ma.
Yeah, they just ma.
You're just ma.
But why are they ma? Why are they shameful?
Well,
what are you shameful?
Maybe it's pride.
Pride. There it is. There it is. Thanks, son. You gotta use it. Keep it for your iPad. I have another one. I love you. Love you. Okay, get away, man. We're almost done our podcast.
Go ask your brother, sweetheart. Yeah, we're almost done.
Yeah, we're doing a podcast. Yeah, I'm gonna make a podcast for you too.
Next time, say hi.
Love you. Okay, bye. Big shout out to our son right there. Gopo. Love that guy. Yeah. So, Palauans love to dance. Samoans have too much pride. Yeah. I love all my Samoan people out there. Just, nothing against anybody, but, I think that's all it is, right? And that pride is also the reason why we don't talk about finances.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how you like that? A segue.
Bringing it full circle.
How you like that?
Full circle.
Booyah. How you like that segue? Booyah.
I like that.
Booyah.
Right.
Coming at ya.
Right.
Yo mama, yo daddy.
Nah, but yeah, that pride too has a lot to do with finances in the Samoan household.
Yeah.
Right? Real talk, But yeah, it's like it needs to be out there now.
Yeah.
It's out there right now. Ain't no holding back. It started right now. First episode right now, and hopefully it just continues to grow and grow.
Oh yeah.
Malu.
Yeah.
First of many.
First of many. Right? So did you explain your financial education already?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
Oh, what was yours?
Huh?
What was yours?
My definition?
Yeah.
Let's see. So my definition of financial education is basically not what people think. Like, I could go to get a financial course in college, and because I don't think there's a lot like that. And if there are, they don't teach you what you're supposed to be taught in real life. Financial education to me is what the schools don't teach you. Right.
Of course.
Why doesn't the schools teach us about credit? Why don't they teach you about bills, student loans? How much is your interest going to be, for paying back your student loans? The penalties in a depth. They'll just give you the quick, if you want to go to college, this and that, you can have some financial aid, blah, 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 blah. Nah, fuck that. If you want financial aid to go to college, you better take this 6-month course to understand what you're getting into, because financial debt is a killer. I mean, student loan debt is a killer. Not only for the whole damn, country, especially for our Samoan community.
Right.
I love it that we are so smart. Our young people are getting educated, going to college. I love that, because like when my uncle preaches, I love what he says, because it's true. You go after high school, congratulations to the graduates. Now it's your turn to go to college to get a degree, because when you get a degree, you get a high-paying salary, and a high-paying salary makes it easier for you and your family and for your parents, because your parents don't have to work, right? But when you do get go to college, there's student debt involved, and that's the shit that I'm talking about. It should be like, they need to educate the children. You young, 18, 17, graduating high school, right? And you throwing this fucking, You know, all this, like, you know, how much you can get a loan for 20 G's, 30 G's, 50 G's. You're just going to throw it on a 17-year-old, 18-year-old who doesn't even have a bank account? You know, it's like, teach them. Teach them first. Financially educate them by 6 months or something like that, so they understand the depths of what they're going to have to do in college to get prepared to get a good paying degree, salary paying job after college. That can wipe out that debt, and then they can really enjoy life by helping out their family. You know, that's just a part of like financial education to me, why the schools don't teach it in school. And I have my own theory about it, but it's because, you know, the schools are run by the government. I got nothing wrong against the government. I love the government, you know, the United States of America, but they don't care about you. They don't care about me. You know what I'm saying? They care about the government, right?
That's true.
And so it's like, you got to care about yourself. You got to worry about yourself, you know. Take care of yourself. You know, how can you do that? By educating yourself. You know, financial education. Why they don't teach that in schools? Hey, why don't they teach that at home? Our parents, you know, that's to me. It's like, because they went to the same schools that we went to. So financial education is like, to me, is like pretty much being educated in all things finances. But who's gonna teach you that? Nobody. Yourself. That's who's gonna teach you. Nobody gonna teach you it. The schools ain't gonna teach you it. Your mom and your dad ain't gonna teach you it unless they, you know, have taught themselves. But you just gotta learn it, you know, yourself, you know. And you know, one saying I love, saying I heard it from this is another quote from a cat that was on a podcast. He said, because they asked these questions like at the end. So what is your, like, what would you tell people who are just joining the financial independence space? What's your advice to them? And he said, well, you know, I always tell them that the more you know about your money, the more you know about your finances, the easier your life will be, you know. And the less you know about your money, the less you know about finances, the harder your life is going to be. It's as simple as that. So to me, that's my definition of financial education. The more you educate yourself in finances, and trust me, people out there listening, you know, nobody's going to teach you. The schools won't teach you. Your parents won't teach you. You got to teach yourself. You know, the more you understand about finances, money, the more your life will be easier. We're living proof, right, babe? We're living proof. And it took me at the older age to get financially educated. And you know what? I ain't got no shame in my game. You know, age ain't nothing but a number. To all my peoples out there who are older, you know, if you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, you still can get 70s. You still can get financial education. It don't matter, because it'll still help you.
Oh yeah,
it'll still help you, no matter where you're at in life. And if you're young and you're listening to this podcast, man, sky's the limit, yo. Mm-hmm. Sky's the limit.
You can do anything.
You got, you know,
anything's possible.
But maturity's gotta kick in first. That tipping point, right? It's that tipping point. Because I was there, I was young. I saw I had fun, you know. It's just that tipping point, you know, that maturity level. Everybody's different. God has our own paths, you know, for us to, you know, to follow and or whatever for us. Financial education, yeah, man. That's my definition. I can go on and on about it, but in a nutshell, yeah, educate yourself, because ain't nobody gonna educate yourself about it. And the more you do, the easier your life will be, you know.
Well said.
Yeah. Am I a preacher? Is it too much?
Just a vessel from God.
Are you guys? No. I'm saying, like, you look like you guys are sleeping during the launga and stuff. It's like,
hey, when do we jump in?
No, jump in anytime you want. Motherfucking shit.
You went past the moon this time.
No, I get excited about this. That's true. It's my passion.
I'm glad.
You know. I'm glad you guys came through. Happy Father's Day, man.
Father's Day. Yes.
Hey, rest in peace, all the dads up in heaven right now that continue to look down over us. You know, your father as well as mine. You know, and all of our ancestors before them. You know, big shout outs to my dad. Was a major part of me and finances. I love my dad to death. I love him till the day I die. Every day I pray for, you know, for my family, for all my friends, relatives, everybody. And I say a prayer. I say, and mom and dad, you know, and everybody in heaven, all my ancestors, thank you for continuing to watch over us, and thank you for the things that you taught us when you were here on earth. So shout out to fathers, you know, around the world. You know,
Happy Father's Day to you too.
Yeah, thank you.
Father's Day, big head.
Thank you. So, any other questions?
You guys have anything?
I don't know. I just need another. Do we need to fill up our coffee? I think my coffee's.
I believe our refill's been overdue for quite some time. This podcast
first episode,
very, very interesting.
No, to add on, there's a lot of good literature out there that people can, you know, if they want to help themselves, finance or get more financial education. There's several good authors out there. You know, Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, Darren Hardy, talking about the compound effect. Napoleon Hill, very much a good source. You know, a well of knowledge. A lot of people talk about. Dale Carnegie is definitely another. Dale Carnegie was actually a disciple of Napoleon Hill. So there's a trickle of information
and these are all authors and books.
Very much so, yes.
Yeah.
And there's definitely a lot of ways that people can self-teach themselves. But one of the best things that I could say is, you know, it's better to ask than to look for yourself. You know, it just saves a lot of time and heartache if you just ask someone that has those results, and then to, you know, be prideful and not ask for that help at all. So. Yes.
Keep going.
Did we go a little over?
No. we're keep going. I love it. We're at 1 hour and 17 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
We did pretty good. But no, that's really all that, you know, if anybody's out there that they want to get a leg up on that, they can look up. These are worldwide names.
Yeah.
They can.
Hey, so what I'm gonna do is those books and authors, we're gonna write them down, and we're gonna put that on the show notes of this podcast episode. All right. So all our listeners, the 2 listeners who, you know, that want to read up on those books that Paulo has just spit out, the authors and the books, it'll be at the bottom of the show notes. And I agree with you. Literature, reading will get you there. The information, that's how it got me here. Straight up, real talk. And I will get that into that in another episode. I thank you guys so much. I love you guys for being here.
Thanks for having us.
I love you too.
I thank you for being there every day of my life and making this podcast possible.
We surely.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you guys still here? Man, motherfuckers all being nosy.
On our way out.
Shit. But anyways, thank you guys for tuning in to our first episode of the Growin Samoan podcast. Hopefully you can tune into the next episode. And if you like this episode, please go to iTunes and rate, comment, and subscribe. And
please
give us a good rating. The more people that can rate our podcast and the more people that can subscribe, the higher the awareness of financial education in the Samoan and also Pacific Islander community, it can grow. You know, the bigger the podcast, the bigger you know, the awareness is for our peoples. Ja. You know?
Sir. Yes, sir.
So thank you once again for tuning in. I love you guys.
Love
and
you. Thank you.
Thank you for you know, being a part of the first episode.
Thank you.
And hopefully we can have you guys back again for
very soon.
Very soon. And you know, before we end, want to when I started getting financially educated, I told Tala, my wife, I said, we're gonna go to Saturday school where we're gonna learn about finances.
We did,
and I called it credit school because that's the first thing we're working on is credit.
We took our backpacks,
and that's what we're gonna talk about, credit, on like the next episode, maybe, right?
Credit and what we needed to do,
and it's
so cool.
And this is what I said though. Cool. Come to credit school.
Oh, yeah.
Come to credit school. Every Saturday morning, come to credit school. All right, motherfuckers, we out this bitch. Yeah, this is an adult podcast. So just, for our peoples out there, we love you guys. But, we don't expect kids to be listening and tuning into about finances. But for you adults, young adults, this is for you. We love you guys. Tune into the next episode.
We need an out jingle.
Out jingle? I'll make an out jingle. Oh, don't worry about it now. I'll just cut it off later. There's out jingles and everything like on it. Before we go, let's say goodbye to the camera. Bye, y'all.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Welcome to the gun show.
Where you get your tickets.
I'm all like.
All right, so 5, so 4. See you guys next time. Peace out.
Peace.